KCB 102, Melanie Wright, Assignment 1.
Everybody knows media is bad for society is a common phrase thrown around many community circles today. With accusations of different media outlets such as television, fashion magazines, advertising and pornography slowly destroying the foundations of society as we know it and generating moral panics. A moral panic is the intensity of feeling expressed in a population when an issue arises that threatens social order. Moral panics have surfaced over many issues throughout history, from 19th century dime novels being harmful to women and comic books promoting violence and homosexuality. An issue still very prominent and controversial today is whether or not video games with violent themes are affecting our youth and increasing violence in our community. Game consoles of all sorts have become a permanent fixture in many homes for quite some time now. As a result, a growing number of young Australians are exposed to violent video games. This has led to a controversial debate as public figures and experts cannot seem to reach an agreement on their impact on our youth. Some believe that life is imitating popular culture and violent video games are responsible for a rise in serious knife crimes amongst teens. Wayne LaPierre, NRA Executive Director, even tried to place a portion of the blame for the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting on violent video games. They argue that these games are priming people for antisocial behaviour and rewarding them for committing murder, robbery and raping women. It has been said that an increase in exposure to such content can lead to desensitisation, lack of empathy, loss of appreciation for real-life consequences of violence, and an increase in risk-taking activities. They believe that gamers are subject to content-specific media effects, which imply that exposure to violent video content are causing them to act violently. There are many who contest the media effects model for reasons such as conservative ideology, inadequate findings, and artificial studies. According to Cunningham, Engelslater and Ward, from understanding the effects of violent video games on violent crime, many conclusions have been drawn before testing on actual behaviour and have not been tested to prove external validity. Video games such as Bulletstorm, Grand Theft Auto, Mortal Kombat and Slaughterhouse are some of the ones being targeted. Yes, surely their names do feature aggressive words, and yes, their games do involve high impact levels of violence, some with implied sexual violence, but realistically, the fact that exposure to such material is reflecting what is happening outside the gaming world is yet to be proven. This point has been shown by the fact that up until January 1, 2013, in Australia, an R18 classification did not exist for video games. The highest classification a game could be given was MA15+, which meant excessively violent video games could not be released in Australia. Furthermore, studies show that at this point in time, society is less violent than ever and crime rates are falling. This is also happening at a time where the gaming industry is bigger than ever, and according to the Interactive Gaming and Entertainment Association, Australia's interactive entertainment industry has recorded $1.161 billion of traditional retail sales in 2012 alone. Sure, video games are not responsible for the decline in crime, but are just another piece of evidence contradicting against video game violence harm. There are many myths and stereotypes associated with all forms of media outlets, and video game violence is a perfect example. Media, constantly coming out with new, challenging and controversial material, is subject to many misunderstandings by society. Granted, media does have some bad effects on a society, but they are complex, subtle and often counterintuitive. And the statement, "everyone knows that media is bad for society," is another misguided sentence thrown out by misguided research and stereotypes of the 21st century. Thank you.